This video is just a quick discussion on how to generally use the if statement. Obviously I cannot cover all problems, but this is just general guidelines. First of all, how would you recognize that there is a choice in a question? The giveaway would be if you have words like if or otherwise. So this question, for example, says display an error message if the amount is more than the balance, otherwise display the new balance. So you need to be on the lookout for words that indicates that somewhere in your program a choice will need to be made, and as soon as you make a choice it will be an if statement. Okay, so once you know that there is a choice to be made, your next question would be what is the condition that determines the outcome of the choice? So what decision needs to be made? And if you read through this question, it clearly says the amount is more than the balance, if the amount is more than the balance. So we can immediately see that somewhere in our code we will have two variables, amount and balance, and the if statement will say if amount is greater than balance. Okay, so when we have a choice to be made in the code, we need to say to ourselves, what is the true part? What happens if this condition is true? And what is the false part? What happens if this condition is false? Now, if you read through this text, it will say display an error message if the amount is more than the balance. So the true part of this if statement will display an error message. Otherwise, display the new balance. So the false part of this condition or this if statement is to display a new balance. But obviously before you can display the balance, you need to calculate it. And you only calculate the balance if you are in the false part. You don't need to do it otherwise, because the balance won't change if it's true. So in the false part, there's two things that need to be done. So without giving away all the code, this is more or less a hint of what you would do in this question for the prac. The true part will display an error message. What will happen in the false part? We first of all notice that there's two things that needs to happen in the false part. So immediately we see that there's an open and a closed bracket after the else. And what are these two things? You need to calculate the new balance and you need to display the new balance.